He didn't pick the family with the biggest yard. He didn't pick the kids waving treats in his face. He walked past all of them and sat down at the feet of the one man who wasn't even there to take him home. This is the story of Sarge, a 3-year-old German Shepherd who was labeled a failure, passed over by everyone, and somehow still found exactly the person he was looking for. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand something about loyalty, about worth, and about how the ones the world throws away sometimes see things the rest of us completely miss. It started like any other adoption event at Hope Springs Animal Shelter. 20 families had shown up that morning. Some came early. Some brought homemade treats. One family had matching t-shirts. Yes, matching t-shirts for the dog they hadn't even met yet. The energy was warm, excited, full of hope. 18 dogs were brought out one by one. And almost like clockwork, each one found their person, tails wagging, kids screaming with joy, leashes being handed over. It was one of those mornings that makes you believe things work out the way they should. But then there was Sarge. Sarge had come from the K-9 unit program. He was trained, smart, and physically everything you'd want in a working dog. But somewhere along the way, the trainers decided he wasn't cut out for police work. He was too sensitive, they said. He responded too emotionally to people in distress. Instead of staying focused on the job, he would stop and try to comfort whoever was crying or scared. For a police dog, that's considered a flaw. So they washed him out of the program and sent him to the shelter. He sat in that kennel for 4 months. 4 months of families walking past. 4 months of being almost chosen and then not. One family got all the way to the paperwork before they changed their minds. A volunteer at the shelter said Sarge would watch the door every single morning. Ears up, tail low, just waiting. Now it was reverse adoption day, a special event where the dogs are let loose in the room and they get to approach the families instead of the other way around. The idea is that it removes the pressure and lets the dog's instincts take over. Researchers who study animal behavior say that dogs are actually incredibly good at reading human emotion and body language, better than most animals, and in some cases, better than humans themselves. A study from the University of Lincoln found that dogs can identify emotions in people by combining what they see and hear, the same way we do. Sarge wasn't just a dog looking for a home. He was a dog who had spent years being trained to read people. So when they opened his kennel door that morning, everyone watched. He walked into the room slowly, not scared, just deliberate, like he was looking for something specific. He passed the family with the treats first. Sniffed once, moved on. He passed the kids on the floor trying to call him over. He passed the couple in matching outfits. He wasn't being rude. He just wasn't interested. People in the room started to get a little uncomfortable. Staff were watching. A few families looked at each other like something was wrong with him. One parent whispered to another, "Is he okay?" And then Sarge stopped. In the far corner of the room, half hidden behind a supply cart, was a man named Dale. Dale was the shelter's janitor. He had worked there for 11 years. He wasn't part of the event. He wasn't holding treats. He wasn't sitting cross-legged on the floor trying to look friendly. He was just doing his job quietly, trying to stay out of the way. But here's what nobody in that room knew about Dale. 3 weeks earlier, Dale had lost his wife of 31 years. He hadn't told most people at the shelter. He just kept coming to work because he didn't know what else to do. He said later in an interview that being at the shelter was the only place that still felt normal. He wasn't looking for a dog. He wasn't looking for anything. He was just trying to get through the day. Sarge walked straight to him, sat down directly at his feet, and leaned his entire body against Dale's leg. He didn't bark. He didn't jump. He just leaned in, the same way he used to do in training when someone was distressed. The same behavior that got him labeled too sensitive. The same reason he was removed from the program. Dale looked down at him, and according to the shelter staff who were in the room, Dale didn't say a word for almost a full minute. He just put his hand on Sarge's head. Then he started crying. The room went completely quiet. A shelter worker named Maria said she had worked adoption events for 9 years and had never seen anything like it. It wasn't a dog picking a person, she said. It felt like Sarge already knew, like he'd been waiting for exactly that moment. What happened next wasn't planned. Dale hadn't budgeted for a dog. He lived in a small apartment. He had no supplies, no food, no bed, no leash. He told the shelter coordinator he didn't think he was in the right place in his life to take care of an animal, and Sarge refused to move. Every time a staff member gently tried to guide Sarge back toward the group, he circled right back to Dale and sat down again. 3 times, same spot, same lean. The shelter director made a decision on the spot. They waived the adoption fee. A few staff members pooled together and bought a bag of food and a basic collar. Someone ran to the back and found an old leash. Dale walked out of that shelter that afternoon with a dog he hadn't come in to adopt. That was in February of this year. Since then, Dale and Sarge have been inseparable. Dale started taking Sarge on morning walks, something he hadn't done since his wife passed. He started talking to neighbors again, because Sarge makes people stop and say hello. He told a local reporter that he hadn't realized how quiet his apartment had gotten until Sarge started filling it back up with noise. And Sarge, he's not a failed police dog anymore. He's exactly what he was always supposed to be. Here's the thing that sticks with me about this story. Sarge was removed from a program because he felt too much, because he cared too much about the person in front of him. In the world of police canine training, that's a weakness. But on the morning Dale needed someone the most, that exact quality was the only thing that mattered. The traits that made Sarge wrong for one purpose made him perfect for another. And Dale, a man who spent the morning trying to be invisible, not wanting to take up space, not thinking he deserved anything, was seen by a dog who had spent years learning how to see people. Sometimes the ones who've been through the hardest things are the best at recognizing pain in others, maybe because they know what it feels like to be looked over, to be labeled, to wait. Sarge waited 4 months for the right person, and when that person walked in, he didn't hesitate for even a second. There are over 3 million dogs in shelters across the United States right now. Many of them, like Sarge, aren't broken. They're just waiting for the right door to open. Watch the next video playing on your screen right now. You won't want to miss it.